Hey everyone, it's your girl Amanda Schaefer here, and this is the fifth and final part of reacting to Beatles facts. And I think we all know which Beatle I'll be reading about today. And that someone is my brother's favorite Beatle, Ringo Starr. I can hardly wait to hear what they have to say about him. Alright, here we go. Richard Starkey was born on July 7th, 1940, in the Liverpool district of Dingle. He was the only child of Richard Starkey Sr. and Elsie Gleave, who both worked as confectioners. I have a friend who has a birthday the same day as Ringo's, as a matter of fact. Alright, let's see. Starr's love for music emerged at the age of 13 while he was staying in the hospital recovering from tuberculosis. During his extended stay, Starr joined fellow patients to form a hospital band. Starr's first quote-unquote drum was a cotton bobbin that he used as a mallet to hit the cabinets in his hospital room. Apparently Ringo was a sickly child. This is going to sound really shocking, but he fell into a coma at a very young age. I read about it in a book that I got for Christmas 5 years ago. Alright, let's see what else. Ringo Starr spent most of his life being raised by his mother, as his parents were divorced by the time that he was a toddler. Starr's mother was overprotective and completely devoted to her only child, even though she was forced to work several different jobs to make ends meet. Divorce. It's difficult for a child to watch their parents split. I have a friend whose parents are divorced. A few of them, actually. So sad. Okay, what else? Starr's propensity for falling ill didn't stop when he became an adult. In 1964, just before the Beatles were set to make a global music tour, Starr was hit with tonsillitis, pharyngitis, and a high fever all at once. While he stayed in the hospital and spent several days recuperating, he was temporarily replaced on the tour by drummer Jimmy Nicol. At the time, Starr later admitted he was terrified that Nicol was going to replace him permanently. Luckily, Starr made a full recovery and rejoined his bandmates in Melbourne. I honestly thought Jimmy Nicol was a pretty good substitute for Ringo. I actually saw an interview known as The Beatles Go Dutch, and he was part of that. Oh boy, it was so funny. Okay, what else? Believe it or not, it was Ringo Starr who was the first Beatle to sing on another artist's show without the other Beatles in tow. In Starr's case, he sang a duet with Cilla Black on her BBC program Cilla in 1968. Cool. Okay. While it's hard to verify, Ringo Starr recently claimed that he was the first man to ever take a selfie. He did so back in the 1960s when he took a picture of himself in the mirror. Whether he really was the first man or not is debatable, of course, but we won't argue with a former Beatle about it. Yeah, what's the point in starting an argument? It's not worth it. Alright. Okay, here's one. In recent years, Starr made headlines when he allegedly admitted that a long-lasting bit of Beatles gossip was true. Specifically, the rumor claims that Paul McCartney actually died in 1966 and was replaced with a look-alike who has been impersonating him all these years. In 2015, the Mirror claimed that Starr confessed the truth during an interview with the Hollywood Inquirer. Oh dear God, the Paul is dead thing? I hated that. I never believed he was dead to begin with. But my dad said that they made a lot of hits with all those clues. Alright, what else? Ringo Starr received the scare of his life in 1965 when someone telephoned him and issued a death threat just before he was set to perform a show in Montreal. Starr was so fearful of an assassination attempt that he repositioned the cymbals on his drum set so they sat vertically rather than horizontal. He was hoping that the cymbals might block a bullet and save his life. Oh no! A death threat? Those things are never good. It's bad enough that the Beatles got a lot of threats after John Lennon's bigger than Jesus quote the year after. Oh boy. He was more popular than John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison when the Beatles first arrived in America in 1964. Wow. And here I thought the entire group was popular. Of course, to this day they still are, but it's just in America's case that year. Okay. He was the Beatle destined to have the biggest acting career after his performance in A Hard Day's Night. It didn't quite turn out that way. I've been watching A Hard Day's Night for 5 years now, and I honestly think they were all hilarious in that film, especially John. Okay, this will be the last one. He was the first Beatle to quit the group, walking away for a few weeks in 1968 and taking refuge on Peter Sellers's yacht, where he wrote Octopus's Garden. Of course, his walkout was temporary, and he did come back at one point. Thank goodness for that. Alright, that'll about do it for the Ringo quotes. It would appear that we've covered each and every one of them. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Are there any quotes about Ringo Starr that blew your mind or found interesting that I've read? Well, let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and thanks for joining me in these amazing facts about the Beatles, and I shall return with more stuff soon. Take care, everyone!